Talk to us about the basic foundation oil in Indian cuisine and how much of that is contributing to bloating or long-term ill effects of health.
Yes, more than the sugar, oil is the culprit for most of the inflammation. Why? Because the processing of the oil depends, right? The processing is done in such under a high heat, extraction is done, high chemical refinement processing is done, that all the balance ratio of omega 3s to omega 6 gets disrupted.
Hmm.
And now you are having overload of those inflammatory and rancid. I would also say rancid because these oils, when they are exposed to oxygen and when they are exposed to light, they get rancid.
The name of your company is Diaspora Nutrition. Where did this name come from?
I am an immigrant myself, and later part after I became a nutrition practitioner, I started aligning myself with the struggles of an Indian immigrant that faces how to navigate the food choices in USA. And
Hmm.
then I was finding for a very unique short name, not very long, for my own service. And I started finding what are the synonyms of immigrant community,
Mm.
and that's how the diaspora word came out. I said, this is perfect. And there was nothing like it. And it's about the nutrition for my Indian community residing abroad. And hence the diaspora nutrition came into life.
Hello and welcome to the Indian Diaspora Podcast. This is your host Rahul. Today we have a very special guest, Neha Shah. She is the founder of Diaspora Nutrition. She is a holistic health and wellness expert who helps the Indian diaspora in America live healthier and a longer life. Neha, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Rahul, for inviting me. And I'm so excited for this fruitful conversation.
So, the name of your company is Diaspora Nutrition. Where did this name come from?
Oh, because as you know, I am an immigrant myself. And later part after I became a nutrition practitioner, I started aligning myself with the struggles of an Indian immigrant that faces how to navigate the food choices in USA. And
Mhm.
then I was finding for a very unique short name, not very long, for my own service. And I started finding what are the synonyms of immigrant community,
Mm.
and that's how the diaspora word came out. I said, this is perfect. And there was nothing like it. And it's about the nutrition for my Indian community residing abroad. And hence the diaspora nutrition came into life.
We love that because we are Indian diaspora and diaspora nutrition. We love that name. But tell us more about diaspora nutrition. What does it stand for? What is your purpose? And what kind of clients do you serve?
Yeah, this is so interesting because it always, takes me to the flashback of my own struggles and history.
Mhm.
Diaspora nutrition, I can tell, is like a love letter to my Indian genes. Is the homage to my women ancestry and the people carrying India in their hearts. Because as a child in India, I had this vivid memories of my mother getting local fresh atta from the kirana store, grinding fresh atta at home, and then melting a dollop of makhan and ghee over the rotis. And that turns out to be that this ancient practices of cooking, eating, and eating with family, with a sense of community and love, is what deeply nourishes our bodies. No matter wherever we go in this world, these cultural rooted practices will follow us along, and we will be passing it down through our DNA to the next generation. And hence, inspired by this joy filled nutrition and food aspect, uh, and this, time tested common sense practices, diaspora nutrition came into life based on actually these food wisdoms, how to help now my Indian community in the USA who is struggling with the health decline, stubborn bloating, weight gain, hormonal imbalances, in a way that they should not feel threat to their own cultural identity.
Mm, that is so powerful. I love how you put it. First, you said a love letter to your Indian genes. That was very beautiful. But the second thing you mentioned are the challenges that many immigrants face in a new country like America. You mentioned bloating, or there is chronic inflammation. There's so many things that goes wrong. In fact, you remind me, I had an Italian friend from Europe uh, who used to enjoy his pizzas. Italy is known for that. But when he moved to America, he saw himself turning wider, more bloated, and he wondered why. And when he went back to Italy, he started getting normal. So, what is going wrong here with the food system in America, Neha?
This is such an important question, and once the people realize this issue, then only they will be able to find the solutions. The problem is, there are many factors. First of all, I can't just blame the nutrition aspect, because as an immigrant we also come with an added baggage of responsibilities, stress life, and all those stuffs, and they also contribute to the health issues. But apart from that, since I'm an expert in nutrition, I will only talk in regards to the food. So what is there in the food market here? Despite of having endless Indian food options, restaurants, or even grocery market, the prime reason is the ultra processing of food ingredients. For example, let's say wheat flour, the flour for that we use for baking breads or making our own flatbreads, chapati and roti, right? Now, even if we are taking an Indian brand of wheat flour in the supermarkets, the difference between the two, the one that we ate in our childhood days and the one which we get here available in the supermarket, is first, there is always a genetically modification of the seeds itself. So the variety of the wheat that we are using is very hampered genetically, and hence it has a high gluten structure, or it has a high inflammatory structure. Secondly, there are a lot of pesticides used. After that green revolution, if we all remember, there was an introduction of pesticides and glyphosate. Those are very harmful fertilizers that are being sprayed on the crops. Now, that science also has shown on the research papers that continuous ingestion of these chemical pesticides inside our body is creating havoc. Third point is how they are processed, right? Now, since it has to be imported, it's just sitting on the shelf life, all the nutrients are gone. There are only 10% of nutrients left to increase the shelf stable factor of the food. Now, you think that you're eating the same food, but no, you're eating a nutrient deprived version of the same food. The products are becoming rancid, they are chemically processed, they are not wholesome. And then, last part comes, how are we cooking it? When people come, leave their home, leave their shelter under the mom's place, now when they have started cooking themselves, we are drifting away from the cultural practices as simple as soaking some food items, soaking the dal for overnight. People don't realize, oh, do we really have to soak it overnight? Yes, you can't soak it for 1 hour in the hot water and just pressure cook it. It won't digest, right? So these are the simple steps. The processing of the food availability, the way we are cooking at our homes, these are all away from our uh, the original format of how we used to eat the real wholesome food.
Hmm. Makes one think.
Yeah.
Neha, you also mentioned Indian genes, right? So besides reflecting on, the genetically modified food here in America, what are the characteristics of the Indian genes that one should be aware of, that one brings into nutrition and what we consume here in America?
Yes, the great thing to think about is to go back to your childhood days. What were the foods that we were eating in our daily to day life? I'm not talking about sweets and festive foods. Keep that aside. In our day to day life, our Indian genes crave on wheat, that is roti. We live on rice. There's one food that binds the whole India together is rice. Go to any village, city, urban, rural, everybody eats rice. Now, as soon as we come here and we learn about the nutrition and everything, we are bombarded with this conflicting information, right? Oh, first, ghee was bad, fats were bad. It is a saturated fat. You should not eat ghee, you should not have eggs. Just have egg whites, throw out the yellows, right? Then there was a phase carbs are bad, rice is starch, roti is starch, uh, go to oats and quinoa, all those sort of things. And then now the latest trend is protein, high protein, Indian lacks protein, right? So due to this conflict in information, we forget our own Indian genes that thrive on the food, because now inherently it's called bad. Typical Indian diet is high in carbs. This is the statement that has been given to us and thrown at us, right? And then we started to shift to oats and quinoa, but we are not happy. So what does our Indian genes tell us to do? Let's make overnight oats to an oats chilla. At least oats is there. It's a healthy factor. But we
Mhm,
have Indianized it,
mhm,
right? Instead of having quinoa salad, we are having quinoa pulao. We are Indianizing it everything because it's ingrained in our roots,
mhm,
right? But then what needs to be there with us is you have to learn the nutrition profile of your own food. Then there will be no need to replace it with so called high nutrition Western foods.
mhm, mhm. Got it. So what I'm hearing is our Indian culture had certain foods, be proud of them, be aware of them, but also how do you ensure that, you have nutrition derived from them as you are in a foreign land like America, you know? Um, got it. Now, I want to go to your personal journey, Neha. I believe you have been in America for last 10 years now. Talk to me when you first came here. How did you see or experience the food here, right? The burgers, the pizzas, the Olive Gardens of
Yeah.
America with their unlimited cheese, right? And when did you realize that this is something is going wrong? And how did you pivot towards becoming a nutritionist?
Yeah. So in the end of 2014, December, I moved from India to USA with my 1 year old daughter. And through 2016 to 2017, there was no issues. Like we were enjoying this new American life, living our American dream, earning the money, eating good food. So much of diversity was there, even in the food aspect, because Indians had this Indian restaurants also. We had Italian restaurant, so we were enjoying. But over time, what we saw was there was a increase in infections that we were having, increase in flu that we were having. My daughter was also falling sick again and again. But when we hear from other people, hey, that's okay, that's normal, so it again goes back in our mind, right, that it's normal, all these things. But then after I became a mother of my second child, that's what turned my journey. I started struggling to figure out why my energy is draining. I'm just 29 year. old. I have not crossed even 30. I'm such a young mom. And why I am out of my breath, out of my energy. I have a full life. I have to raise my two kids. This is just the starting point, right? Why my health is declining the way it was never. Even after eating such lavish food, even after traveling the America across and, earning good amount of money and buying our own homes and cars, like pretty good life. That's why I was being so nerd about it and curious about it, that what is happening. And that was the first time I came across the nutrition dieting sort of term. Because back in India we used to diet, but we knew that diet is bad for us. Say suppose there was this diet called cabbage soup diet, military diet for 7 days, and we everybody knew this has to be done only for 7 days to deprive yourself, and once you are done, once your event is done, for whatever reason you are doing, you are back into your normal stuff. But now when I go and Google down there, I was bombarded with these Western options of calorie counting and carb restricting and everything. I started having only broccoli and paneer. I had started introducing eggs as a protein source, because there is so much of importance of protein into uh, this dietary normal nomenclature. Uh, so my first instinct was to, of course, get a professional help, but I ended up, stuck in this cycle of calorie counting and intermittent fasting and low carbing and food tracking. Every day felt like another senseless diet. Every day felt like, what am I doing with myself? And I realized that the nutrition guidelines that I was given were based on very Western centric dietary choices, and, which didn't reflect my Indian food culture at all, subtly suggesting that my traditional meals are unhealthy. I I literally stopped, buying so many things that we used to eat at normal days. I started replacing ghee with olive oil. I started replacing rice with quinoa, even though I did not like it. Um, I started replacing wheat with my oats. I had a full glass of smoothies in the morning to fill myself up. I had this egg waffles, egg pancakes in the name of the protein. Um, but these doesn't taste our, these doesn't suit our taste buds at all. And then at one time, everything comes back as a knot, as a frustration, that I have to cook different things for myself and for my member. And apart from that, I'm not even enjoying this journey at all. So that's how I realized that instead of focusing on what these people are telling me, let me take the matters into my own hands. Let me study by myself what nutrition actually means, because down in before, like even our grandmothers and grandfathers, they did not count each and everything on that thali. My mother did not give me the thali, hey Neha, eat this protein rich thali and do excellent
Yeah.
in your exams,
Yeah.
right? So I wanted to normalize that thing, but how to do, I did not had any knowledge about it. And hence I started studying. I enrolled into this institute of integrative nutrition, IIN. And that helped me a lot. It opened the doors. I started talking more to my mother, that how you used to buy the foods, why we used to have carrot juice and pomegranate juice in the winters, why you used to have papaya at that time. uh, Mama, you used to give us salad before eating, and I now exactly know why we were eating that way. Why we have chas after our meals. It's probiotic rich. But the problem is the marketing actually, the problem is in us. We don't do our marketing well enough
Hmm.
the way the people here in America does. They
Hmm.
have taken the turmeric from our Indian culture and packaged it in such a way that everybody is nuts behind the turmeric latte.
Exactly. Or those turmeric shots or ginger shots or chai latte. Yeah.
Exactly, exactly. But when our mama was telling us to have this haldi wala doodh, we were making faces.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is how my journey started, and I
Mm.
slowly, you know, created this full holistic program. First
Yeah.
of all, I did it in my own home, and what a transformation, without any guilt, without any tracking. It was a bliss. And you know, when you start getting those food sourcing locally from USA farmers, not only I saw the changes, my whole family was experiencing, because it's the
Interesting.
same item that everybody is eating.
Hmm. So, talk to us about the transformation as well, because we reflected on the challenges you had, shortness of breath, feeling fatigued. How many years has it been since you are quote unquote cleaner? And talk to us about what positive changes have happened in yourself, your body, the way you feel. Let's reflect more on that.
Oh yes, definitely. So all this was, the struggle was happening since 2017 to 2019. All these 3 years I had cystic acne. I had this adult acne, full covered, like left side, right side, in my chin, even my forehead. It was not smooth at all. I was very low energy. I was not smiling. I was not even taking any photos of myself because I didn't feel good. Not just look, but even feeling good.
Mm.
I had this bloated stomach as if I am 4 months pregnant all time. If I don't, then I started intermittent fasting. It helped me, but as soon as my eating window came, and if I would have just taken a short breath of air also inside me, it would again bloat.
Mm.
I went dairy free, I went gluten free, I started buying almond milk, hazelnut milk, all those stuff, oat milk, but nothing was working. And then my weight did increase, but I was not bothered about my weight gain because the numbers were not so extra high. It was just like 6 kilos higher than what I normally have. But
Mm.
that was not the concern. The concern was the globules of fat, the globules of fat that is emerging from every corner of my body. And that was something very unusual. This is not normal. I said to myself, this is not normal. I used to talk to my husband that, what is this happening to my body? This is not normal. And when I go to the doctors, they just check the BMI and then they tell you are normal, you are fine,
Mm.
just, stress less, be happy. So she, and like the doctors entirely took put it on me that I am not happy with myself, and that's why I'm feeling that way.
Mm.
And then if I go to the nutrition practitioners, they all started telling that this hormonal imbalances, you go and have this test, you go and have this allergy test. it, the costing just increases on and on.
Yeah.
After this endless test, my thyroid is normal, my blood sugar is normal, so what the hell the problem is,
Mm.
right? And then I started having hair fall. The front temple, there was a baldness here. So slowly and steadily this started happening. But yeah, after eating the traditional way, uh, my acne went away. It's been like from 2020 to now it's 2024.
Yeah.
It's been 4 years. I have been maintaining my weight. I have high energy. I
Yeah.
have been enjoying the food that I eat. I'm not like off the diet, on the diet. I'm not on the diet at
Yeah.
all. I'm just eating the usual food that the way I used to eat before.
Yeah. That's
My
amazing.
stomach is flat. It's not bloated at all. I
Yeah.
don't get any period cramps.
Yeah.
Uh, I did not had a single acne stuff. Never. It's
Yeah.
gone now. It's not coming back.
Yeah. We can feel the happiness and glow
Yeah.
in you here, Neha. And it's almost like somebody showed you a GPS path, and here you're
Yeah.
driving your car smooth on the highway without any hiccups, right? And
Yeah.
for this, you're on a difficult road, uber khabad road, as we say in Hindi, right? With your steering wheel coming out as you were driving. We can see the transformation. And I also want to reflect on your personal journey, that you were a software engineer before that. And so much moved were you by your challenges in nutrition that you decided to dedicate your profession and
Yeah,
become a nutritionist. So talk to us about that transition of being a tech person and then moving into holistic health and nutrition.
yeah. This is very interesting. I think the qualities that we inhibit, the stuff that we did in our childhood days, it comes back to us. God brings it back to us at some point. I am a technical person, but also with that, I'm also a very creative person.
Hmm.
And even though I come from this web development background, like creating websites and creating databases, uh, putting, working with the data and information and all those things, but I'm also have this, what we say in Hindi, heart filled with karuna.
Hmm.
So I have that thing in me, because even in my college days, when my class couldn't understand the subject DSA, data structure and algorithms,
Mm-hmm.
I remember we had 5 teachers changed to make us understand the algorithm, how to write it, what is the logic behind it. At
Mm-hmm.
last, the head of the department, HOD, he came and made us understand. But none of the students could understand. They were still confused. And then they finally told Neha, you are making each and every girl individually, make them understand. Why don't you stand in front of the class and give us a lecture on it?
Mm-hmm.
In front of this 150, students of the information technology class, I
Hmm.
gave a lecture and I explained them how to think, how to write, so that you don't have to mug up.
Mm-hmm.
And they never forgot that day. They, till now, many of my friends thank me for explaining it in a way that made it so simple for them to understand.
Hmm.
And that is a quality I never knew I had in me. And
Hmm.
that's why when I started doing this nutrition stuff, experimented on myself and my family, there
Hmm.
was that same karuna of my heart was telling me that you need to spread this.
Excellent. Hmm.
Yeah, because I see my friends, my in the group that we sit, drink, eat every festival and every weekend out there, they are also telling the same stories.
Yeah.
They're also struggling hard, and no doctor is giving them the answer, clear
Exactly.
answer to them.
Exactly. One criticism of the healthcare system here is that often doctors would look at the symptom but not go to the causes. You know, And the karuna, the kindness point that you mentioned is very interesting, because if you look at the world of nutrition, I'm sure many of us have gone to nutritionists. We all hear their prescriptions, we come back and we forget it, right? So making change is an ongoing effort. And how do you touch their hearts? Speaking of
Yeah.
karuna, kindness, and how do you drive change in behavior over time? And what I'm hearing from you is that that humanness is what you had in you, and that's what you're putting into practice for betterment of society.
Yes.
How many years have you been doing this now, Neha?
So I started my service and so-called, you can say, business or
Yeah.
entrepreneurship in
Yeah.
the year 2020 after
All right.
COVID hit. Yeah.
Okay.
In fact, in the October 1st, 2020 was my first day. And
Yeah.
but after that, it was just, general Indian diet, losing weight on Indian diet, because that's what attracted people.
Yeah.
Even though I was not happy with that messaging,
Yeah.
this is one other aspect that I'm talking about, the struggles of an entrepreneurship also, how to market yourself, who will
Mm.
listen to you, right?
Yes.
Um, so initially, you always think that go with the flow, what others are speaking. So I went with the flow, what others are speaking, like losing weight on Indian diet, right? But after 2 years down the line, I was still not happy with myself.
Mm.
And I took a break. Full 1 year, I took a break. I did not earn a penny, and started reflecting on myself that what I wanted to make a bigger impact. How can I do this? And that's when this idea of immigrant angle kicked
Hmm.
inside my mind,
Hmm.
right? Because this is a struggle that I relate to.
Hmm.
Let me stick to that. I don't want to see what other peoples are doing.
Hmm.
I don't want to refer or compare myself to anyone.
Yeah.
This is my strong point, and I really feel strong about it that I will thrive on this messaging.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And
Absolutely.
then from 2023, November, December, I started changing my content now from Indian diet to immigrant struggles.
Yeah.
Yeah. And launched my program
Yeah.
as Diaspora Nutrition in January 2024.
Excellent. Excellent. Your practice, has been for last 4 years. My question would have been, Neha, what have you learned in the last 4 years about South Asian or Indian immigrant diasporas approach to nutrition, and how you
Yeah.
course correct them towards the path of that GPS driven smooth car on the highway that we were talking about, right? What have you learned about different segments of the diaspora? Let's say H1B, um, professionals, H4 spouses, or students on F1 visa, or first or second generation immigrants. I want to reflect back on your learnings.
Everyone is here to make a life, right? But in that process, many of us lose ourselves. We because try to fit into this society for acceptance, right? And through that process, we never know where we have neglected our own nutrition and health aspect.
Hmm.
And when it becomes too late, there's a maturity of level, age that they come, and then they start realizing, hey,
Hmm.
you know what? Enough of work. Now I need to focus on my nutrition also.
Interesting. Yeah.
So this is the first thing that they realize. But then the second thing, what happens with them is that they start dieting, they start restricting, they
Hmm.
start counting. But as again, nothing resonates with them. They're doing because they think that this is only the right way to do.
That's what they've been told. Hmm.
Exactly. There is no other solution,
Hmm.
right? And that's what hits them when they see my content. That this girl is speaking entirely opposite. How come she is making so much sense and making it so simple? So when they come to me, I talk to them in their own language, our own Indian language.
Hmm.
Now, language doesn't mean Hindi, English, or Gujarati. Language means the sense of belonging that we see our food,
Hmm.
right? So
Yeah.
when we talk in the same language, we connect in the same frequency.
Yes.
Our vibrations match.
Yeah.
Now our vibrations match. Now they are more alert, whatever I speak to them.
Hmm. Hmm.
So I tell all the, praises of all the Indian foods that we eat so that they feel confident that yes, yes, you are correct, but now how to do it,
Hmm.
right?
Got it.
So the how part is also very important.
Yeah.
So I have made this large resource because of my, you know, I'm very good at researching, not on
Mm-hmm.
the Google itself,
Mm-hmm.
going deeper and deeper and deeper, talking to
Hmm.
the people, messaging them on Facebook or Instagram or anywhere, and
Hmm.
asking them for more references. And that's how I came to know about the local farmers here
Interesting. Yeah.
throughout the USA.
Yeah.
And I have made this large, bank of information from
Hmm.
where you can get your Indian foods from local USA farmers.
Interesting. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
What kind of
just,
Indian foods? Could you give some examples of those Indian foods?
of course. So let's focus on everyday food that we eat. What is there in our Indian thali? We have one grain, either it's wheat or rice.
Mm-hmm.
Both of these grains are grown here in US.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll now source our rice from rich California soil of the US. We will source our wheat from the stone millers farmers of the US and
Mm-hmm.
get the rich nutrient profile. Now, the same roti that you will eat will have more fiber, more protein, and more nutrients, other nutrients like potassium, magnesium, iron, because the red color of the wheat gives iron. So now
Hmm.
it is iron rich also. Did you
Hmm.
see how the nutrient profile just increased?
Hmm.
Second is oil, from where to get your oils.
Hmm.
How to make ghee the traditional way, because the
Hmm.
market ghee or the Costco ghee, they are rancid. From which milk is it coming? We don't know. What is
Hmm.
the breed of the cow it is coming from? We don't know.
Hmm.
What have they eaten? We don't know. Just writing A2 on the label doesn't mean that it's A2. People
Hmm.
are here to trick you,
Hmm.
right? So
Hmm.
go back to your roots. Source the milk from the local farmers. If you
Right.
can't get the milk, get the cream
Got,
and then make the ghee out of it.
got it.
Or they are
So
making
sourcing.
small business. Yeah,
So it seems sourcing is very important, right? In America, they say know where your food is coming from, and that's where many farm to table restaurants got popular. Now add the Indian angle to it.
exactly.
Know
Add
where
your
your
Indian.
Indian food is coming from or Indian ingredients are coming from. That's new.
Exactly.
Excellent.
Exactly. Yeah.
Hmm.
And now the world has become small. So there are, few of the other items also that you won't get it here locally, but you can get it from local farmers of India,
Oh,
right?
okay.
Get it
Hmm.
from them,
Hmm.
right? So there is always mix of everything. Some
Hmm.
things locally you can get it from here, some things locally you can get it
Got
from
it.
there.
Okay.
And yeah,
Yeah.
and that's how you mix and match your pantry. So first step is your pantry makeover.
Okay.
Yeah. And
Mm-hmm.
then second step is how to make. Again, same traditional practices needs to be applied here. You need to soak your rice and dal. You need to put a bay leaf while cooking it. You need
Hmm.
to put a ghee tadka on your dal.
Yeah.
All those stuffs, right?
Yeah.
And you need to have a probiotic dahi chas after your meals. These are all the common sense practices that we used to do, but people have stopped
Yeah.
doing it.
Got it. Got it. Neha, one question on the oil, right? So oil is so essential a part of Indian cuisine, be it our thali or the onion pakoras we will have
Yeah,
during those rains, right? Now,
yeah.
even in oil, let's say east of India, Bengal region is having its own mustard oil. Yeah.
Correct,
The west of India, Gujarat is having its own kapasia tail, which is, you know,
correct.
I think that's cotton, but definitely sunflower oil.
Yeah,
South of India might have, uh, you know, uh,
coconut.
coconut oil or sesame oil, right?
Yes,
Uh,
yes,
so
sesame
we
oil.
have our oils, and then we hear that hey, Indian or seed-based oils may not be good for you because of omega-6, let's say, and that's why this olive oil is
Yeah,
being advertised to us,
yeah.
messaged to us. Talk to us about the basic foundation oil in Indian cuisine and how much of that is contributing to bloating or long-term ill effects of health.
Yes. More than the sugar, oil is the culprit for most of the inflammation. Why? Because the processing of the oil depends, right? The processing is done in such under a high heat, extraction is done, high chemical refinement processing is done, that all the balance ratio of omega 3 is to omega 6 gets disrupted.
Hmm.
And now you are having overload of those inflammatory and rancid. I would also say rancid, because these oils, when they are exposed to oxygen and when they are exposed to light, they get rancid.
Hmm.
So now how are we consuming this oil is the point. You know what, we are not consuming these oils only in our cooking. If we would have been consuming in these oils through our cooking only, that would not be the problem. We are actually consuming these oils via packet foods, toast,
Hmm.
biscuit, khakra,
Hmm. Interesting.
chanachur, chips,
Hmm.
mayonnaise, ketchup, Maggie,
Hmm.
right? Any condiments, even if you are telling, oh, I'm buying this achar pickle from Indian store, soya bean oil is there inside it.
Hmm.
right? And then the oil, cooking oil also that you are buying is extra refined, it's ultra processed. So it's already inflammatory. It's been kept in the plastic bottles, in the light of the superstore market. I said it will become rancid when it hits the light.
Hmm.
So the quality of the oil is not good, and the way you are ingesting those oils is only via packet foods. You're
Hmm.
cooking less at home. Honestly, people are cooking very less at their own
Yeah,
home.
yeah. That in America, right? Convenience everywhere. If you go to Southeast Asia, Singapore, a lot of Indian diaspora is out there. None of
Yeah,
them cook in their home. They go to the nearest food
yeah.
store. But
I
on
would
even
tell
the
you,
food, sorry, finish your point. Yeah, carry on.
yeah, there is one really good point from where you will realize this, because this T20 World Cup was happening in
Uh-huh.
USA,
Uh-huh.
and whenever there was an Indian cricket match you used to watch, there is the ads coming in between. All the ads were for the South Asian community. They were ads of foods.
Hmm.
All the foods were packet foods. All the foods were packet foods, frozen
Yeah.
section, and all those stuff.
Yeah.
So
Hmm.
do you really, it means the Indian diaspora here is more dependent on packet foods.
Packaged foods. Yeah. Hmm. On the point of sourcing, Neha, how do you source oil that is not rancid?
Correct. This is a very good point. So first I will give you the list. What is a sourcing checklist? Because you know what? Brands can come and go. They will change their marketing game again and again. But how will you realize that this oil is better or not? So there's a sourcing checklist for oils, fats. Let's start with the seed oils. It should be cold pressed or wood pressed or kachi ghani.
What is kachi
What do
ghani?
you,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, what do you mean by that? It means there is no high heat applied to extract the oil.
Hmm.
They have been crushed in the, surfaces of the wood, and then the oil has been extracted, which is full of good flavor, good smell, aroma, everything. And the omega 6 and omega 3 ratio is also balanced,
Hmm.
because no chemicals have been used to refine it, no high heat has been used to diminish it of the nutrients,
Hmm.
right? That is the oil that you should use in your everyday cooking. So even if you are using mustard oil, it
Hmm.
should be kachi ghani mustard oil.
Hmm.
Now, it should not, and it should be also used seasonally. They don't use mustard oil throughout the year because it's so hot. You won't use it in summers, you would use it in winters.
Hmm.
Similarly, coconut oil, and similarly ghee also. Source it from the cream or milk that are grass fed, because grass fed will have
Hmm.
that ghee will also have more omega 3 than just saturated fats,
Absolutely.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So these are some pointers that you should make sure of it.
Hmm.
And don't reuse your oil after frying.
Got it.
Don't reuse it, just discard it.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah,
Excellent. Now, next point we will reflect on is portion size,
yeah.
right? Versus exercise. Some reflections, let's understand what other cultures do. If you take France, for example, they're very popular for their, boulangeries, which is basically bakeries that sell bread, or their patisseries where you get those beautiful macaroons. Now, French are
Right.
famous to have all of those desserts, but still be fit, right? The secret is the portion size. If you look at the portion size in America, they're huge. But in India,
Very.
recently, let's say last 50 years, any big thali you have in those buffet restaurants, we go to a big Gujarati thali restaurant or a Rajasthani thali restaurant, we have those huge portion sizes, right? I'm
Right.
not sure whether we had those portion sizes, let's say 100 years back during the British times or even before, while we were
Yeah.
farmers or we were working on the field, right? But let's reflect on portion size of modern India, Indians in India, but also perhaps immigrant population here, and the level of exercise we do in our modern
Yeah.
lives. What's your thoughts on that?
Yes. Of course, the level of physical activity has reduced a lot, and due to which there are more problems. Like, even if the younger generation, they are having desk jobs, right? And they don't take out the time to go for a walk or to start strength training at least 3 times in a week is very good, optimal. You don't have to push your body every day, but at least 2 to 3 times in a week is a good thing to go. And keep walking. Our bodies are meant to walk a lot. That has been reduced a lot. Even, first thing for Indians that comes into the mind is, yeah, diet se kar lete hain.
Hmm.
Kam khana kha ke kar lete hain. But that's not sustainable. You will feel hungry, right?
Hmm.
If you are deprived, you will feel hungry, and ultimately you will binge. But
Hmm.
what if you exercise? Is you are making your cells more tolerant to the food that you are eating,
Hmm.
right? You're also making your cells active. Your metabolic fire is getting ignited again and again to digest it better.
Hmm.
But there is also second aspect. There is lot of dependency on screens. So even when someone has time, they're busy just scrolling.
Interesting.
Unnecessary scrolling in front of the phone has also been increased a lot, due to which they are just sitting at one place.
Yeah.
Grandparents have started scrolling on WhatsApp, right? Mothers and fathers also doing the same. And the new generation, they're on the Netflix.
Hmm.
They're on the Instagram, they're on the TikTok. So nobody
Yeah.
is moving so much. They are so sleeping late because they think this is an entertainment source for us. Since they're sleeping late, they're not able to wake up also early, just go for half an hour walk before starting your day,
Hmm.
right? So this overall mindset change has to be done first
Yeah.
before coming to any exercise and portion control,
Mm, mm, mm. Got it.
right?
Got it.
Coming to the portion sizes, don't compare our portion sizes with what we get in the restaurants, because restaurants are meant to feed us. They will make it that way.
Yeah.
But what about our home, right? See, you have to understand two things. Why are we bulking on so much of rice? People have started saying that these Indians eat so much of rice and so little sabzi. But why are we doing this? This has started only after ultra processing or industrialization of food. When our local rice started replaced by uh, basmati rice of Indian supermarket. As I said, processing decreases the nutrition value of any food. Your cells are craving for more because you're not feeling full,
Hmm.
right? If you get the nutrients, whether it's carbs, protein, fiber, magnesium, potassium, everything, why will your body tell you to put more?
Yeah.
You are not getting it enough. You are eating more food, but not only that, you are eating more
Hmm.
nutrient deficient food.
Hmm.
That is a problem. Now, once you replace it with nutrient full food, automatically your portion size will come under control, because your body is smart to tell you, hey, you have done enough for me. I'm done.
Hmm. Yeah. That's that's a new perspective. Ironically,
Yes,
it's almost
exactly.
like scrolling through social media, but really not getting, let's say, insights on something. So there's
Correct.
more quantity, but less of quality there. Hmm.
Correct, exactly. Because
Hmm.
as I said, when I change my source, I am getting local roti. I'm cooking my roti from the local flour.
Hmm.
I get so full because it's full of choker, it's full of fiber. It's
Yeah.
not white in color, it's not very smooth. The
Yeah.
roti is not very soft.
Hmm.
This has been the marketing that has been fed us when
Yeah.
Ashirwad Atta and all these advertisements starts coming. Have your roti very soft, soft, very white, white, fluffy,
Hmm.
fluffy, and all
Yeah.
those things. But when you see the roti of the constructor worker that comes and
Yeah.
builds your walls or paint your walls, see their roti. It's
Yeah.
brownish, it's grayish in color. It's
Absolutely.
and it's not very soft. It's a little, chewy, more rusty.
Yeah. Yeah.
That fills them. They have their abs. They have great muscles.
Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah.
So Neha, we have reflected on a lot of points. Understand where your food comes from and where your Indian food will come from. The second is we talked about oils, and we talked about, for example, kachi ghani, or
Yeah,
non-heated oil, cold pressed oil. We talked about portion sizes, exercise, but also mental, uh, finding
shift.
mental free time and not being
Yeah,
trapped in the modern traps of life, right? And I'm sure there are many more points. So if I'm an average professional here, making it in America, right, in the rat race of going to office, coming back, and I'm tired by the end of the day, or I'm a, wife supporting a family,
correct.
busy and running a family, what would be your advice to these people to learn more about nutrition, uh, and perhaps make changes and stick to it, right? Give us a
Yeah,
GPS roadmap of getting into the path of better nutrition and a healthy life.
yeah. This is so good point because we all are here in this together as a family. It's not the responsibility of one single person to take care of everybody, right? So first thing first is you really need to have a good mentor who can guide you from where to get the food, because this is not out there on Google. This is not out there in Indian supermarket. You won't find anyone. So first thing first is that you need to source it from the local farmers of USA. Once you have done that, you need to make a plan. Make the plan of what you are eating in this week. Just make a plan from Monday to Friday, weekdays, because that's the busiest days. Everybody's busy from right from 6 a.m., 7 a.m. to the evening time. So when the plan is made, you are not getting overwhelmed or out of any idea what to cook today, what else is there to eat, like that.
Mhm,
So that should be a fixed plan that they can follow. Third thing is that to include the diversity in the sense, if in the morning you are having wheat, in the night you have your rice.
mhm,
Few days add some other grains. We have so many of fasting grains that we eat, like rajgira,
mhm,
buckwheat, kuttu.
mhm,
Add those things also in your daily diet. So
mhm,
that way you would overdo with one particular food. You are adding diversity, so nutrient diversity will be there,
mhm,
right? Third thing is make use of the modern gadgets like instant pots that
mhm,
does your job in seconds and saves you time,
mhm,
right? Lastly, as a couple, what one can do in the night time after they are tired, they are watching their Netflix, they are trying to, de-stress themselves. While watching the Netflix also, while watching your television, while entertaining yourself, don't keep your hands empty. Husband can chop the vegetable for the next day. Wife can soak the stuff that needs to be cooked the next day.
mhm,
That's it. Now, once the vegetable is chopped and ready, once you have soaked your dal and grains,
mhm,
you will cook it in the morning. It will be made in 10 minutes.
mhm, mhm.
In one side, instant pot is doing the job. In another side, the pan is doing the job of cooking the sabzi. That's it,
Yeah,
done.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm thinking that's how
So,
we used to live in the olden days, right? My grandmother used to soak the lentils or chana for the next day, and we used to plan. Somehow we
correct.
got busier.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Excellent,
Yeah. Yeah.
Neha. Thank you for these points. So, diaspora nutrition. Where do you want to take this for the next 10 years?
Yeah. Very interesting. I want to create this sense of community platform, which I have already started doing it. And in that platform, today we are more than 250 immigrants.
Hmm,
In this just span of 4 months, we have gathered 250 plus of immigrants across USA. And I want to create this one family unit where we can find culture, cuisine, health, connection around one table.
hmm,
And that's where I see myself doing all day long, all years of my life. whether it's 5 years, whether it's 10 years, it's the same thing, because I know more generation is going to come leaving India and coming and settling in the USA, because I can see the percentage increasing day by day. We are surpassing even the Mexican people as
Mm-hmm.
an immigrant.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, so this knowledge needs to be more available. Right now, they don't know. Right now, I have to work hard on myself to put it out in front of them via LinkedIn, via Instagram. But I want to make that mark that when people come here,
Mm-hmm.
apart from getting, career course, this course, that course, I want them to get and become a part of my diaspora nutrition community also, so that they don't have to struggle from day one.
Yeah.
They will have the plan, the right resources from where they can start without getting overwhelmed.
Mm. Excellent. That's a great vision. That's a great vision. We are 1% uh, of the US population at around 5.4 million people.
Yes.
It's a large diaspora, and certainly this culture is new for many of them. The food is new for many of them, and thank you for helping them navigate their health and nutrition. So, being part of that community will be great. So,
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Neha, this brings us to the last segment, which is some fun rapid fire questions. Uh, just don't
I'm
think, just shoot.
excited.
All right, awesome. So the first question, uh, a food in Indian cuisine that is most healthiest that one should have.
Most healthiest. It's not one food. It is
Mhm.
always,
Yeah,
a
that you would
combination
want
of
to
food.
suggest. Yeah, you would
Yeah.
want to suggest. Hmm.
Our good roti, our roti, ghee, and jaggery. Combination of that is
Hmm.
complete wholesome food by itself. You can have it as a snack, as a breakfast, whenever some cravings hit.
Hmm. And again, I got to be careful here because nutrition is holistic. So just don't add have roti, ghee, and jaggery every day. So I gotta throw that in. All right. Now a
Yeah.
food that we should avoid.
A food that we should avoid is definitely processed rancid oil that you get in the name of packet foods and pickles and everywhere. Those oils are dangerous than the sugar also.
Hmm. Hmm. A culture shock you have in America regarding food or nutrition.
Culture shock that I got was, how should I put it? Okay, was one instant where they are promoting that you should have quinoa and amaranth. Okay, now they say that amaranth has been started from Aztec society, which is in South America.
Okay.
But when I look into that sourcing from where they have got this amaranth, is origin of India.
Mm-hmm.
So the culture shock that I get is that they don't give enough credit to our food culture.
Mm-hmm.
They make it and market it in such a way that they have discovered this something new and reintroducing it to us.
Mm-hmm.
But by the name only, Amaranth. Amar is a Sanskrit word to live longer.
Mm.
So when you eat Amaranth, you are living longer.
Yeah.
So yes, it might be from Aztecs. I'm not denying it, but
Mm-hmm.
please add our own source also, because your food, when I read the label, it is product origin of India,
Mm.
but you're
Mm.
not giving that credit to us at all.
Mm. Mm.
So yeah, this is one of the culture shock that I get always.
Got it. All right. Next, a book or YouTube personality or video that everyone should know when they want to search nutrition.
Oh, there are two people. One is, of course, Rujita Divekar.
Okay.
Uh, she's the epitome of how she has reintroduced, Indian foods again, changing the lens of how to look at them. Her books might be very simple, but if you read again and again, then only you will be able to go in between the lines, right? Because you are here in living abroad, you need to reread again and again. Second is this environmentalist, Vandana Shiv. She is one lady who is changing the farming dynamics all over the world. She's telling to save the heirloom heritage seeds without pesticides, without getting genetically modified,
Hmm.
and getting connected to the soil, the farmers, and everyone. She is helping entire world. Even that one Indian lady is helping even America to realize that the people that you are doing, spreading glyphosate, changing the seeds from its roots itself is not only hampering our health but also Mother Nature.
Hmm.
So reading the documentaries, listening to her videos is also very insightful, because food is not just for enjoyment and all those stuff, but food is also that will connect you back to the nature,
Hmm.
connect you to your own soul for your own enlightenment,
Hmm.
right? So these two person will give you the holistic aspect of food.
Thank you for sharing the names. Next, if you are trapped in an island for a year, what three foods would you carry with you?
With me, I would carry my rice, dal, and ghee.
You
Yeah,
love
so
your
that I
ghee.
can have khichdi every day.
uh, that, yeah, that'll keep you full. It's very tasty. Any that's khichdi, right? If you make the ghee, dal, and rice together.
Correct.
Excellent. Now, finally, what's your cheat day food?
Cheat day food, you know what? That's an interesting aspect. I'm so sorry, Rahul,
Yeah,
not
yeah,
to put it into a
go for
very
it.
forward manner. Yeah, because cheat day was the time when I used to restrict myself.
Yeah,
Now there is no cheat day. In fact, we have celebration day. So in the weekends, we have more foods that are traditionally aligned, that we don't cook, on the day-to-day basis, like dal dhokli, because it takes some time and it needs to be eaten just when it is cooked. It
yeah.
can be done only during the weekends.
Hmm.
So weekends is a celebration day where we at least eat one traditional meal from
Yeah,
our grandparents' time. For me, it is dal dhokli. For my other clients, it is dal bati churma.
yeah.
From other Bihari clients, it is sattu paratha.
Yes.
All the stuff.
So cheat day food can be healthy and good for you. It
Yes,
doesn't have
yes.
to be cheat day. It has to be,
No,
celebration day.
celebration day.
Love that. Love that. So Neha, this was such a wholesome discussion about not only your journey and transformation in life, but also how you're helping others make that transformation in their lives. All power to you, Neha, as you walk this journey from an immigrant perspective, but also as a nutritionist, helping the world live better. If there is a last message, Neha, you may want to give to the diaspora, and our viewers are from Australia to Africa, Europe to Americas, what would you want to say to them?
I would like everyone to say that stay true to your roots. Never forget your cultural identity, especially when it comes to your food. It's as wholesome and healthy as your broccoli and quinoa, and take pride in it, and make use of your grandmothers and mothers who are still alive, who are on this earth before going to the heaven. Ask them, document their traditional recipes, whether it's pickles, whether it's post pregnancy diet, which is very important, homemade fermented pickles. Jot down those recipes and create your own library of traditional foods that you can then pass down through to your next generation. Keep
Hmm.
them alive.
On that note, thank you everyone for joining us on Indian Diaspora Podcast. Neha, thank you for joining. Wishing you a lot of success ahead. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Rahul, for this opportunity. I'm very grateful and humbled.